What's going on, people? Welcome back.
Yes.
Back with another one, myself, Lex.
And Shubbz.
And we have a very special guest here. Drum roll, please. Brrr. The infamous...
Rebecca Tembo.
Solid. So, Rebecca, just give us a brief introduction, kind of who you are, what you do, and we take it from there.
Okay, my name is Rebecca Tembo. I'm 23 years old from South London. I'm a fashion designer and I have a brand called Rebecca Tembo, which specialises in luxury jumpsuits. And I also have a platform called the Entry Platform, which helps aspiring designers just start their businesses, basically.
Amazing. So, where did it all start? Like the fashion design? Like when did you start getting into fashion or designing as well? Like what's the story behind Rebecca Tembo?
Okay, so it started when I was super young. My mum's a Seventh-day Adventist. So every year we'd go to a pointings in Wales or Sussex or somewhere, and it'll be a 1 week retreat, religious kind of stuff. And I would always draw the same dress. I don't know where I saw this dress, but it was an evening gown. So as I grew older, I was like, okay, I can draw, I want to do fashion, but my parents are like, it's not something that you can probably succeed in. And then I went down that very academic route. So I'm very academic. And then in secondary school, I had an opportunity to go to this school called the Fashion Retail Academy for a week to do I think it was the 2012 Olympics. So there was some sort of thing going on. So I went there and I was just this is just a bit of me, city life, fashion, everything. I was like, this is what I'm meant to do. Then when it came to applying for sixth form and everything, I wanted to go to a school that would let me study fashion. But my dad specifically said, you're black, you're not going to make it in fashion. Yeah. And I was like, okay. So I did 5 A-levels in college, but then I left after 1 year. There was a whole, I'm just going to say spiritual situation that happened that just confirmed that I'm meant to do fashion. Good. So I was just I'm very stubborn. I was to my parents, I'm not going back to college. I'm going to go study fashion.
You bet on yourself.
Yeah, I didn't speak to them for 3 weeks and we live in the same house. But I got into the fashion school, convinced them to sign the papers eventually, mainly because they just wanted to speak to me. And I went to fashion school and it was difficult. But that's basically where I started learning the basics of sewing, the foundations and stuff. And then one day before, I was working at Tesco's in F&F. So before my shifts, I just went on YouTube and I was like, let me just figure out how to make a dress. So I just followed the YouTube tutorial, made a dress, posted it on social media, and I just got clients from there. And that's how it started.
That's amazing.
So
that's amazing.
What is fashion school actually like? Because I've just seen people just carrying their portfolios of drawings and all that, do you know what I'm saying? So I've never actually seen it. So what is it like?
It's interesting. I liked it in the sense that I love... I was going to say the lifestyle, but it was really nice, just going into the city and just being inspired and meeting people that I would never ever meet had I not gone to that school. But it is probably what you expect it to be in the sense that it's very cliquey. No one really talks to anybody. You have maybe 3 friends that you're super close with and that's it. You don't mingle with anybody, which is weird because in fashion you have to know people. But anyways, we're young, so I don't think it's necessary because I feel design is something that you kind of have in you. But I feel for me, I'm happy I went because I feel I'd always think, oh, what if? And I probably would have gone at a later stage. And now I don't think I didn't do a degree or anything. So I wouldn't go back into education. But it's very cliquey and you just have to work really hard. Everyone's very talented and very hardworking. So if you slip, no one's coming to catch you. No one cares. The teachers don't care either.
So when did you kind of decide to start your own business, or was it just from when you started getting clients, you just said okay, let me just keep on doing it? But when did you make the decision that this is what I'm doing full time?
Yeah, so when I made that dress and posted it on social media and got clients from there, I just said yes to everybody. I didn't know how to sew properly, but I was like, it's money, so I'm just going to do it. So that was very, very difficult because when you don't know how to do stuff and you're learning on the job and you've got deadlines, it's it's very hard. So for a good 3 years, I was definitely depressed because I could not handle the pressure of it. And I was 18 at the time as well. So what was the question?
Just when did you decide to go full-time in your business?
Okay, so it happened when, like I said, I got really depressed, and I basically didn't even finish fashion school. I nearly finished. I had like 2 months left, but I did not I was on like medication. I couldn't get up and go to school. So
was it just being overwhelmed with everything going on?
Yeah, like there was just a lot. Yeah. I later like understood why I went through it, but at the time, 19, I don't know what's going on.
For sure.
So I stopped going, and I was going like maybe once a month just to like show my face or whatever, but really should be there like 4 days a week. But at that time, I had all these clients. So I was just doing all their stuff, and I left my job at All Saints. So I was literally just relying on that. But you're young, so like also had my parents support kind of a bit. Yeah, like at least I'm going to my house, like where my family live, you know. So then after a while of being broke, I went and got a job again, and I was like working in retail, and that was okay, like just part-time. I think I was working in like Carnaby Street, and then I worked at Selfridges, and that was good. And then I think it was after Selfridges, I got a proper job in fashion on Savile Row. So that really helps me. Like my job was so good, and I learned so much. And then it was like December when I completely went full time on my business. And just been winging it.
That's so good.
December, not December last year.
Yeah, last year.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
nice.
oh, wow. Yeah,
that's actually good.
That's solid.
And we said it as well on a podcast, because there was a point when I quit my job and I was like, I'm gonna be a full-time entrepreneur, whatever. But like 4 months after, I took an opportunity to like work in a like bigger brand, and like I say all the time, like you don't know what you don't know. So there's so much kind of like you can benefit from working from a bigger organization and see what it takes to really build like a sustainable business that can grow and scale as well. So that's really good that you made that decision. So what exactly does it take to be like a fashion designer, or to like have a fashion business? Because you have like kind of your side, which is more luxury, kind of like made for one person and stuff like that. But you also have like the kind of generic printed ones and stuff like that. So what does it take to kind of run a fashion business, and like what does it entail?
You need work ethic.
Yeah, for sure.
Funny enough, I had a conversation this morning with another like fashion designer friend, and we were talking about like what we've been going through and stuff, and that there's no like way to skip anything. Like you actually have to work really hard, and really hard means like sometimes, I hate to say it, but like you're not really going to sleep that much. Like your friends don't really understand what's going on. You kind of have to like ghost them, not in a bad way, but just like you just need to be alone and like just do your thing. And you need to be like business savvy. I feel like where loads of designers go wrong is that they are either looking for like clout, like they want social media, like retweets and stuff like that. Or they're just like, I'm just a designer. I don't care about the business side. I don't understand numbers. I don't understand marketing. And that's why I started the entry, because I saw that. And I was like, I'm very passionate about entrepreneurship as well, probably even a bit more than fashion. So I wanted to just help people understand, like you do need to know your numbers, and you can make money. A lot of people assume, whether it's fashion or just being creative, that you're going to be broke. And okay, that period will happen. But I truly believe you can make money if you're smart.
There's a lot of money out here to be made.
Exactly. Reese Wabara is a great example. Like he has a fashion brand that's turning over 2 million a month in a pandemic, you know, and they're hiring in a pandemic. So like, but he's just a smart guy. So
100%. So where did you kind of learn this kind of information? Was it kind of just like learning on the job, or like you said, you also worked another job, so you saw kind of the behind the scenes, but like, was it just reading books and stuff like that? Where did you kind of understand?
I read a lot of books, and I feel like, I remember my mum bought me like that Rich Dad, Poor Dad book, but like the teen version. So I read it when I was younger, and I was like, oh, I really like these kind of books. And then I read, I think we had the 7 Habits of Highly Successful or something. So we had that in the house, read that too. And I was like, okay, this is like my kind of thing. And I've always had this obsession of just wanting to be like the best and be the best version of myself. Like when I was younger, like, you know, WikiHow, I'll be like, how to be like sassy, how to be this, how to be that. And I was like in secondary school. So I've always had that kind of obsession. And the books, I think, just naturally like grew on me. Listen to podcasts as well. And then I guess with my job in fashion, like I kind of already knew some business things from there, but I fortunately got to work a lot with the CFO and the CEO. So you pick up what you don't learn in books, which is, I think communication is like a big one. I understood investment a lot more. I understood like leadership and teamwork because you're actually working with people. Like, how do you keep them motivated and what makes people like miserable? Because like people always like complain about their jobs. So that was interesting to see like as a leader in the future. And I learned a lot of what not to do, like so much. And I made my mistakes with their money. So
that's the best thing, isn't it?
Exactly. But now if someone made their mistakes with my money, I would not be happy.
No, I get you. I get you. So also like one thing that I always try and talk about or share kind of information on is business systems. So do you have any kind of systems that really help you to kind of systemize your business, like not make it as overwhelming? Because like you said, like it can get super overwhelming, everything get on top of you and stuff like that. So is there kind of any habits or systems that you have in place to make sure that everything is kind of smooth, if you know what I mean?
Yeah. So we don't have like any like technology which helps with those kind of systems. But there's stuff that you kind of have to put into place where like there's a lot of Excel spreadsheets. But then there's quite a bit of delegating. So for like every process, like even if it's like shipping or like even just how to wrap something or how to respond to someone, like I've literally written down step by step what to do, and I give that to my intern and she just does it. Obviously I have to like train her and all of that, but what that does is that it makes my time, like I have a bit more time. I can be a bit more free and focus on like other things. And she can just like handle whatever. So like she'll know like, okay, we need to ship something. We need to gather all our stuff, log into UPS, go to this page on UPS, put all this information in. Oh, it's going to the USA, free commercial invoices, that kind of thing. And we also try to do things efficiently. So I print all my orders on like A4 card. And before we'll do like one by one, like as the shipments went. But now we do like, when we open the store, we probably get a few orders and we'll just batch print everything and print all the labels and everything. So we're literally just ready and we're just waiting for the jumpsuit to be made and just sent. So yeah, just doing things in batches really helps.
That's really good. So like essentially you're
I was gonna ask, sorry, do you come up with the designs or is it like, so then you'll make the designs and then give it to like your intern to kind of get it manufactured? Like how does it work basically?
So we have like two lines. So there's luxury and there's lounge. So luxury, the price point is about 300 to 500, 600. Bespoke is probably 700 plus. So with that, the customer orders and then we order the fabric, or I order the fabric and send it to a seamstress to make, because that's like my clients there are very, that kind of person.
Yeah, so, I get you.
No mistakes. Like it has to be absolutely perfect. With loungewear, it's so much more easier to make. They probably take me about 2 hours each to make. What I do, let's say like I open the store for like 2 days, probably get about 20 to 30 orders in those 2 days. And then I would order all the fabrics. So ordering like rolls and rolls of fabric, zips, everything, and put all the shipping money aside as well. Most of the orders go to America. So like you have to bear that in mind. And then I would literally go one by one and make each piece. So
one by one, by hand?
Yeah.
Really?
Amazing.
Yeah. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. So I was saying like, it was like my first day off. Well, it wasn't a day off really because I was just working from home. But
I get you.
Off the back of that question, I've got 2 questions by the way. You said you open and close the store, right? So you're telling me, so like, how long would you open the store for? And then why do you open it and close it?
Because there's only so much I can handle as one person. So I close it when I'm like, this is like too much. But it's something I've only started doing recently. So like last month, there was like 50 orders in one day and I'm making them. So it was just like a timing thing. So now I'm like, okay, like I'll open it and then once I hit like my maximum, then I'll close it and then reopen. So we're trying to do
with demand as well, because it kind of like
it must increase demand.
If you want it, you gotta be fast and stuff like that.
It does help. Like I always get scared every time I open it. Like what about if nobody like buys it? But it always does pretty good. So
cool.
but it's taken me a long time to get to that stage where I can do that.
And do you mean like online shop? Or do you mean like a physical?
When I say close, I just mean like I mark everything as sold out.
Yeah.
So
right,
I
okay.
mean, So no one can buy anything besides like the luxury stuff. That's fine because I'm not gonna make them.
Like my second question is, I imagine you come up with the design yourself, come up with the concept yourself, right? Draw them up. But what's your creative process? What's that like? Do you know what I mean? Like, could you be driving, you just see this is far-fetched, but see a brick wall and think, you know what? Yeah, draw inspiration from that. Do you know
I
what
don't feel like I'm inspired by like stuff like the ordinary person. Like they'll go to like a museum and be like, oh my God, this art is so beautiful. And I can't see what they're seeing.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm always inspired by my future self. So I do a lot of like visualization. Like I'm extremely ambitious. I want a nice life. And I always put myself in places that I want to be. And I think, what would she be wearing?
Yeah.
And obviously that could be influenced by people that are already in that position. I look at the way they walk, the way they talk, the kind of clothes they wear, how they express themselves. And I think now what's probably made lounge do quite well is that a lot of women are in a stage where they're very like, they're aspiring for more. So when they like shop, they want to buy stuff that makes them feel like, oh, I'm like going to brunch and Knightsbridge, that kind of thing. And I feel like because I'm like that, and I know I like to do those kind of things, it's easier to design because I kind of know who that person is. So but when it comes to like the luxury line, I feel like I just need to sit down and gather loads of inspiration and then just kind of sketch from there. But I still think about like who I want to be, basically.
I've got one more question, right? 'Cause I must have looked on your page and I saw that you were wearing a jumpsuit. Had like a massive bow in it. I think it was like black. It looked like a bow anyway. And I thought, right, that's actually quite different. Like, I've actually haven't seen that before. So how do you ensure that your product is better than your competitors?
One thing I do is like I go into Selfridges and Harrods and I just try on their stuff and I'm like, okay, this is not good, or this is great, or I like this fabric, and then you can go on online and just find out what fabric they use, basically. But ultimately, it just comes down to quality. Like, because I've been doing it for a while, I know when something is good and when something isn't. So quality, you can do your best with fit. Obviously, not everybody fits everything, but as you grow older, especially like women, we start to just get things tailored. Like we know, okay, those jeans aren't going to fit perfectly. Let me just go and get them tailored. Or that suit's not going to be perfect, but you go and fix it, So it's no longer a thing where it's like, oh my God, it has to fit to the T. At least when you spend some money on it, if it's like Pretty Little Thing or something, then you just return it. But when you spent like over £200 or something, you're probably gonna get it altered if you can, like to your size. But you just have to go and like look at other brands, see like what they're doing, and also think about what you can realistically do. Because to sell stuff, although it sounds like, oh my God, like £500 for a jumpsuit, like the profit isn't that much because I have to pay the seamstress so much money because I know that quality would be amazing, and the fabric is all from the UK, mainly London. So that's also like a expensive.
And also, I think just being your authentic self and like people buy into you as well, which is what kind of why like people would go to you rather than a competitor as well. So I feel like that has a huge part to play as well.
I was gonna ask, like, how do you incorporate plus size women? Because I know they have a problem with like sizing and just finding things that fit them, basically. Like, how do you incorporate those kind of women?
A lot of plus size customers, they just send their measurements through. However, it's something that I know that I need to work on because especially like in the jumpsuits, like when you see them, it's either on me or on somebody that kind of like
kind of slim,
and people will just kind of buy what they feel like they can imagine themselves in. So there's a girl called Fasaya who owns Kai Collective, and she was saying how until she put one of her dresses on a plus size model, like she was literally not selling any pieces. So like the larges and the extra larges, I don't really sell that much of because they haven't seen anybody that looks like them. But it's something that I know that I need to do because you have to be inclusive.
Exactly.
And everybody deserves to look nice. But when I do get them, they typically like they might order extra large, but then they'll put in the notes, my waist is this, my hips is this, and I just like make it to that.
So you have like you'll receive instructions from the clients like, can you just tape it in a little bit?
Yeah, like they'll give me like specific measurements. I just need like their waist and their hips, but the fabric is stretchy, so it's quite accommodating to any size anyways. But I guess that helps. But now it's just like actually letting them see themselves in the pieces through like models and
so it's not like you click small, medium, large or whatnot. It's just like, or is that how it's done? Like
so lounge is like extra small to extra large.
And
then luxury is I think either size 4, size 6 to size 22. I think the biggest size order that I've ever gotten is probably like an 18. So it doesn't really go like that far on, but I mean some luxury brands only go up to 14. So.
No, I get you.
Wait, just for our male listeners, because these sizes going over my head. Size 18, is that double XL? Is that large? Is that XL?
I'll say it's like
Extra.
double XL.
Double
Really?
XL.
Double XL.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
then-
like extra large. Like
No, I think extra large is probably what people say 14 to 16, which isn't actually extra large. But when you think of size, then like a small is 8 to 10,
yeah.
medium is like 10
Like
to 12, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Large 12 to 14. So XL would
Okay,
be
yeah.
14 to 16.
Yeah,
Makes sense,
yeah.
So,
makes
yeah.
sense, yeah.
Yeah. All right. I also have another question. So you said like your prices from like 200 plus to 700, maybe more, depending on whether it's like bespoke and stuff like that. So like I used to have this issue. I probably still have this issue, but when it comes to pricing, like how do you kind of justify your pricing? How do you kind of like price it at a price that works well for you without really like it's a luxury brand, right? So I'm sure that it's really good that you got a price at that point. But what was the thought process? Did you ever think like maybe this is too much or maybe stuff like that? Like how do you kind of get to that point where you're comfortable enough to say, yeah, this dress is £700? Do you know what I'm saying?
It's been a process.
Mhm.
I feel like when I started the luxury stuff, that was hard. In fact, when I started in general, I was charging like £40,
Yeah.
like labor, and then you just like add the fabric on top, which is like just really bad. Like you literally don't make any money.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know how much fabric cost. So like most of the time would eat into that £40. So I wasn't actually making any money. But I've always liked nice things. So I knew that I wanted a luxury brand. And I saw like my competitors, their price points. So you do all of that research. But then there was that kind of like nagging thought where I remember like my dad saying like, you're black, you're not gonna make it. And in luxury fashion, you don't really see anybody that like looks like you, that has a brand. Virgil Abloh doesn't count because he doesn't actually own the company.
Yeah.
So
Wait, he don't own the company?
No,
He's
he's just
the face of it.
yeah.
Does he design? for it as
He
well?
does. He's a creative director, so you have like a team of designers,
Right,
and you
okay,
just kind of
yeah.
say yes, no, and give your like input into it. Not to discredit his work. He's worked extremely hard to get there. Yeah, but at least maybe as a woman, then there's no one to actually look at and be like, okay, this person's like doing what I want to do. So that was quite intimidating because I was like, how am I gonna I need to be confident enough to sell it. Luckily, because I worked on Savile Row, I actually worked for a black designer, Oswald Boateng. He's the only black designer on Savile Row, and he's been through it. But I was so I basically handled like production for the company, and I'm processing like all the orders, and I'm seeing men come and spend 40 grand on a suit. And I would go to him. We had a great relationship, and the CFO as well. And I'm like, how do you do it? He's just like, you have to be confident. If you shake when you say the price is £700, they're not going to take you seriously.
Yeah, for sure.
You have to sell it,
isn't it?
Yeah,
you got to position yourself as that brand.
Exactly. One thing I loved about Oswald is that this guy always looks sharp. Like even if he wore the same suit like 2 days in a row, like he still looked so good. He walked into the room so confident. Like he could literally sell anything. Like we'll have guys come over from the US and spend 200k in one shop and then bring their friends the next day and buy them stuff as well.
Yeah.
Like it's not impossible. It's just that people haven't seen it be done.
Yeah.
So for me, whether I had seen or not, I'm still gonna go for it. But because I saw that and I know that these guys have wives and they want clothes, then there's no reason I can't do it too. It's just a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of like work on your mentality.
Yeah, it's breaking that barrier, isn't it? Where you kind of feel like, no, I got to stay in this, but there's a whole much bigger world. You know what I'm saying? And people have money, and people will
people
pay.
have so
There's a
much
lot of
money.
money
You
in
just
this
got to
world.
find your audience that will pay. You know what I'm saying?
100%. It's literally just, once you find your audience, you're good. Like now I can be like, okay, I'm going to release something. I know that my client in Hampstead is going to like buy X amount of pieces because, you build those relationships and it's easier.
So like now, so just off the back of what you said about the guy you used to work with, Oswald, right? Do you now think that you're basically a walking product? So anywhere you go, whether it's like Knightsbridge, whether it's out to brunch, whether it's out with your friends, you always have to basically look sharp. You can't, when you're
maintain your brand.
Yeah, when
kind
you're
of
in the
thing,
quote unquote in the public eye.
Yeah.
Do you think you always have to basically look sharp? Like
You have to, especially because the brand's my name. So I just can't look mad if I'm going somewhere. So I always wear my own stuff if I'm going like for dinner or to like an event or something. Because you kind of have to anticipate that people ask you where's your outfit from and you want to say it's yours. Because people ask you, oh, what do you do? I can't say I'm a fashion designer and I'm wearing another brand. That sounds crazy. So yeah, definitely, especially if it's a luxury brand. And I think I feel like I see some fashion brands and I just don't see like the designer like living their brand,
For sure.
and I want to make sure that I embody it. So yeah, I'm definitely big on making sure everything's consistent.
There's only one other person that I know that lives and breathes his brand or their brand, and that's Gio. Like, large up Gio, what he's doing, shout out Extremes. I'm saying, go grab that. And this leads you on to my next point, right? Now let's talk about branding. How have you built your brand? Because obviously I checked out your profile. You got like 7,000-8,000 followers,
and you seem very intentional about it as well.
I feel like it kind of happened like naturally. I don't feel like I planned it. I've archived like a lot of pictures. So, but do you mean like in terms of like a personal brand?
It's like personal brand,
yeah,
just also your reputation as well. Because at the end of the day, like you said, it's in your name. How are you kind of able to kind of make sure that when people hear your name, it's only kind of good reviews, if you know what I mean? Like nowadays, we see a lot of problematic kind of things surfacing and stuff like that. But how are you kind of able to navigate and kind of build your brand and make sure that when people do hear your name, is that luxurious brand that they can really pay a lot of money for, if you know what I mean?
I feel like I stay out of a lot of stuff that's online. Like on Twitter, like everyone will be tweeting about whatever's the topic of the day, and I'm there like, oh my god, I love dolphins. Like I'm just saying something completely random. I don't like to get into it. Like I think it's all crazy. So I'm very intentional in the way, I guess, that like I just want to be known for my work. I think I probably picked that up from Beyonce, where like obviously now we know a bit more about her relationship with Jay-Z and stuff, but prior to that it was always about her work, and I don't think there's any reason that anybody kind of needs to know me for anything else. So I think I've always been quite vulnerable and open on social media as well about my journey, and that's definitely helps like have like loyal supporters that have literally been there from the beginning. Like I always get like the sweetest messages from people, but I didn't actually plan to do it. But as I realized, oh, this is actually working, that's what I've been doing. I guess on Twitter, I don't really understand why people like follow me there, because I don't really tweet that much. But I think I show a lot of the process. And on Twitter, I feel like in order for your content to go viral, you need to show them how you did it. And like you'll get so many retweets and like all of that stuff, which you can, if you're smart, convert to sales or at least convert to leads. But yeah, I don't really show like my personal life. Like I was saying to my friend recently, you know, I feel like even on social media, it's very like image, and people just want to see like all these fancy things. And I get it, especially for luxury brand, like I get it. But if I go to dinner, like, you don't really need to know where I'm going all the time. Like sometimes I'm going to snap it because it's a nice place, but I don't actually need to do all of that. Like I'm here to just inspire people, to sell my products and to create a good life. So
no, I get you now, for real. Yeah, it's kind of knowing how to like what to share and kind of having that boundary there, because I see so many people oversharing stuff, which is very unnecessary. But yeah, you also kind of mentioned, like you said, being able to kind of build something that goes viral and then being able to convert it to leads and stuff like that. So do you kind of have any marketing strategies that have really worked well for you, or kind of like what's your process behind like a campaign, or if you're dropping a new season, like what's your process in terms of putting it out there for the world to see?
Yeah, what I found that works is that people just want like authentic, real content. When I've tried to do the whole like fancy polished thing, it doesn't work because it's so unrealistic. So now that I've kind of caught on to what they want, I'm like, okay, let me make a design and take a picture in it, and I'm gonna also like take some pictures of how I've made it. Not in detail, it might be like 2 or 3 pictures, a couple of videos here and there, and I'm just gonna post that. And I know that it's gonna do pretty well. If I just post something without any like thought or whatever, it doesn't always like, well, it does okay, but not as well as it could. But that's kind of how I go about it right now. When it comes to like luxury products, that's a bit more like in person. I have to like work really hard, go to like, for example, there was like a client that I have in Oxford in Surrey, and the time that I was at her house this day, like she had a few of her friends over, and all their husbands are like directors of Gatwick. So that's where I have to like do a lot more like, you know, networking kind of work.
Big business.
Yeah, because they're the ones that are going to go and buy like all those luxury pieces or get something custom. But when it comes to like the lounge line, it doesn't require so much like this needs to be done like this, that. It's literally just show people the process and create something aspirational. I was speaking with my dad about like the day when I sold like loads of pieces in one day, and he said he feels like what what did well for it is that I just took pictures like by my car on the streets. Like people just felt like that could be me.
Because it's real.
Yeah.
Authentic.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's very real.
And then
Every
like
day.
you just add something little, like have the roof down or whatever, because then now they're thinking of their future, like when maybe they'll get a convertible or something like that, and they can just like dream a bit bigger.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. And you just so
No, that's good. I feel like basically it's just understanding your audience and making sure that whatever you're doing is something they can relate to, if you know what I mean. So like being a luxury brand, you're able to kind of provide them with that kind of luxury image that they can tap into as well.
Yeah.
Whether it's streetwear, maybe like if you're another streetwear brand, you can create something that people can rock and they can see themselves rocking it well as well. So it just comes down to really being self-aware in a sense.
Just make
if you
it
know what I
realistic.
mean.
Like just let them see like where they would wear it if they actually went somewhere. The thing with streetwear brands is that they go and take pictures like by stairs. And there'll be like a girl and a guy.
Like block of flats and stuff
and
like
they're
that,
like standing looking down at the camera, and I don't get it because I'm not aspiring to go and stand by stairs either. But what do people want? They want to go to Hakkasan, they want to go to Novikov, Nobu, like everywhere. They want to go Radio Rooftop. Go and get people, go yourself and go and like pose and like wear a fly outfit, and people will buy it because they're thinking, oh wow, like if I get that, then I'm gonna go Hackers, and I'm gonna post this, and then I'm gonna, that's how
It's
people like
lifestyle,
think.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
You're basically feeding into the image lifestyle.
Literally, that's it. Because that's what people want now that we're in our 20s and early 30s. Most people, like, they are literally think about their lifestyle, whether they want it now or they have it now or something that they're aspiring to in the future.
Yeah.
And the small ways they can do it is by purchasing clothes. So,
very true.
So how long you been doing for
5 years.
5 years, right? Okay. So what have been some of the biggest? No, actually, before we get onto that, what has been the most challenging thing you had to do so far?
Just the internal work, like all the mindset stuff, and like the hardest thing was learning that I had to take responsibility for my life. Like I had a very like cushioned life, and my parents just like my mum did everything, so I was just very relaxed.
What age was that?
When I learned?
When you kind of decided that of taking responsibility for your life, like, because I also remember having that epiphany, and I'm like, shit, like everything clicked. Like, what age do you think that was?
How old am I? 23. 20.
What brought you to that decision? Like, what made you kind of really deep it? Like, if you want this life, you're in charge of it, and you got to create it.
Do you know what? It's because I was going through a period where I literally thought like I had like bipolar or something. Like I literally thought that's what was going on with me. Like my mood swings were crazy, and I was actually going to go to a doctor, and I was also dating someone who like he was like white guy, private school, lived in Surrey, like nice life, and I saw something a bit more different to what I'm used to, like on a daily basis. And I spent a lot of time there with his family and like all their friends and stuff. And I was like, this is what I want. And then my reality wasn't really like matching with it. And I remember once he just said to me, like, why don't you just deal with the situation? And I was just like, why don't I just deal with the situation? So I can't remember how exactly, but I remember I ended up reading, Reese Wavara posted The Obstacle is the Way on Instagram. So I bought the book. And I was like, this is probably something that I really need right now, because it was all about hardships. And my life wasn't even like hard like that, but it was just more
relative,
like, just being a bit spoiled, Yeah. So I read that book and that changed everything for me, like absolutely everything. Yeah, by Ryan Holiday, which is my favorite book ever. Yeah, it's so good. It changed everything.
Description box below.
Yeah.
Down below.
But yeah, that was just like, whoa. And I read that, and that's actually when I went to get my job in Selfridges and just like fixed up things that I wasn't happy with. But even with that, it's an ongoing battle.
Yeah, for sure.
And then after that comes like, okay, now I need to think about my relationship with money. What did my parents say to me? How do I treat it?
Yeah, your beliefs towards money. And that's something that I kind of really want to push people to do as well, like really question their beliefs about money. Like some people kind of feel as if they're not deserving of money, or to get large amounts of money, you have to work extremely hard and you have to suffer. But this is kind of things we pick up as we grow up. But really and truly, when you really dig deep, you kind of understand that you are deserving of money. You don't need to suffer for years to get money. Like there is abundance in the world as well. So it's really good that you kind of started questioning that kind of mindset as well. Just so like as you grow older, you have a healthy relationship with with money and you kind of welcome money into your life. You know what I'm saying? Like you're luxury, you breathe it. So just really welcoming it into
and changing your mindset into a surplus kind of mindset, because you actually attract that when you
100%. You have to do it, otherwise you're actually just gonna be broke.
Yeah.
And it's not just about like attracting money. It's like you start to see opportunities to make money. Like a lot of the reasons why people procrastinate, and I'll say mainly like with people with parents from like ethnic minority backgrounds, is that they've seen their parents work really hard and not really have anything to show for it. So you don't even realize that, I'm not working hard because you think you're being lazy, but the truth is you're scared that if you work hard, you're going to be in the same position as your parents. And it's those kind of like little things. I have a client who, like a consulting client, and she's from Russia, and she was saying how like they were like dirt poor, and like it was just a very horrible thing for them there. And when she came to my workshop that I did earlier, I played a video of this, I can't remember the guy, but he was talking about like poverty mindsets and stuff. And that's when she started to realize like, I think the rich are evil. Like that was literally her perspective.
So you're scared to make money because you don't want to be evil.
Exactly.
It's all programming.
And now she's every day saying her money affirmations and things like that. And it's so important because you need money, and it doesn't matter what people say. Money is extremely important. You need a lot of money. This pandemic should have taught everybody have cash. Like you can't think it's not important. It's 100%. Very important.
And like Remy said as well, the whole abundance mindset. Like when you see kind of scarcity and you understand and you start feeling like someone else's success takes away from yours, or you can't, like, money is something that is meant to flow. So once you kind of start understanding that as well, so I really do want to push people to kind of start questioning their beliefs about money and kind of
I was even watching something yesterday, right? And it was a program on Channel 4. So basically, you have the top 1% in the country. They swap lives with the bottom 1%. And the rich lady, because it's husband and wife and kids, the rich lady was like, damn, money doesn't buy happiness, but it buys you options. And bro, I felt that line, fam. I felt that line. You know what I mean? Like,
it's so true.
Buys you options.
Very true.
100%.
But you touched on it before, right? But how do you stay motivated? How do you ensure that, you're getting up every day, you're doing what you're doing, staying consistent? Do you know what I mean? Like what's that driver?
I don't believe in motivation. I always say it. Like, I feel like it's just, I don't like that word because it's a myth. Like motivation isn't real. It's a temporary feeling that you get like here and there. You can't predict it and it goes. And I can't rely on feeling motivated to finally do something. And when people are motivated, they tweet about it and they will post a picture of the house that they want to get. They don't actually take advantage of the fact that they've got a lot of energy right now to like work with. So keyword discipline, like you have to be super, super disciplined, and it's hard. Hence why it's discipline. But I feel like I'm very clear on what I want in life, and the people around me are extremely like, they're just on it. I can't slack because I'm not going to embarrass myself in the group. So I'm just like, okay, I wake up now that I've got like a studio. It's easier because I actually have to like go to work. But I've always been an early riser, and I try to do like a routine in the morning. If I'm like not super busy, and I don't know, I always think like, how would I feel when I go to bed? I want to feel really good and proud of myself that I've worked really hard. So that's kind of like how I keep going. And I listen to a lot of stuff. I love athletes. I love their mentality and stuff. So I like to listen to like their interviews. Like Lewis Howes has a great podcast with
Academy of Greatness.
School of Greatness. So there's like loads of stuff I listen to there, and that just keeps me going. Like it's hard. Like I don't want to actually work most of the time, but I'm not going to have the life that I want. I won't help the people that I want to help. And the people that I'm inspiring now, it'll be such a shame if I don't make it, because that's such a waste of their support as well.
Sis,
you're
really
doing your thing, bro.
Like, honestly.
Don't worry, you'll make it. You gotta keep giving your flowers.
No, but I feel exactly the same way. Like I was watching The Last Dance, with Michael Jordan. Oh my gosh, the gems that was dropped in that, like in terms of like, okay, I wouldn't say motivation because that's the wrong word to use, but his work ethic, his mentality, like it's just crazy. I took some gems. I was like, no, I have to apply this in my own business.
And I said it before, right? A lot of people are motivated, but they just lack consistency.
Or even execution.
And execution is the biggest one, because everything just starts with that one decision, and then it's a snowball effect. And even if you're feeling low, brother, get up, fam.
Exactly.
And keep
Yeah.
going.
Some
Someone's
people-
coming for you.
Yeah, exactly. Some people actually, they know how to plan, but when it comes to the execution part, they kind of just back away. So it's actually important
100%.
to actually put it into
I just want to
plan.
to put it into place, for sure. I
place,
just want to quickly touch on what it took to get your own office. Like, what is that as well? Because someone looking from the outside in could find it super overwhelming, but you might have a huge goal towards like getting an office space, but like you just made it happen. So what was the kind of process behind that? So we
What
can
was
kind
my
of
third one?
debunk it. Oh, nice.
Yeah, so everyone thinks it's my first. I had one before, like Pecco, which was like the worst. No, I would never. Sorry, if you live in Pecco, I'm sorry, but never again in my life. To a point where like they locked me. Like there was all these aunties like downstairs, and they locked the whole building because they thought I was gonna take their customers. And I was like, I'm not making your stuff. Like,
You're not making no trad.
I just want to go home. I had to call the police. I was like, I'm never coming back again. Then I had another one in Thamesmead, which is like near where I live, like a 5-minute drive from where I live. Nice space, but the people are very messy and clean. Unclean, yeah. And my room was lovely, but then like maybe you're just walking through the corridor, you see a mouse, that kind of thing. And I was just like,
bring clients there,
yeah, exactly. Like, how can I bring clients over and they go to the toilet and there's a mouse? And I'm petrified, so I can't even work in that kind of environment. Like, I'll literally go home to use the toilet and come back because I was like, I saw a mouse in the toilet once. So I remember once I just had enough. I was like, yeah, I'm out. So I just worked at home for a while. It doesn't really take that much to get an office space per se. Obviously, you need like money. Like you need like I had to put down 2 months down, which was like £900, so it was okay. But then I had to spend a lot of money on like equipment and stuff, refurbishing. People let me down. Like there's all these like things. A man with a van, 100. Like it was just a lot.
How did you find it though? Like how did you find these office places?
Okay. So this one, I think. You know what? My friend moved into his own. He wraps cars. So he moved into his own in Essex, and he was telling me, and he was just like, "You just need to get your own Bex." And I was just like, October. Like that in my mind. I thought I'd do in October. So I was just like, maybe we'll see how things go. But because he said that, I was just on Rightmove having a look, and I saw some in like. So mine is in Kent. So I saw some in Kent, and I was like, oh, this is a good price and a good size. Was trying to inquire, but people weren't really getting back to me. I don't know if it's like because of the pandemic and stuff.
Probably.
So I went on Gumtree and I was like looking in areas in Kent because I always thought I'd get one in Hackney or somewhere around that area. But Kent is like literally, if not a third, then half of the price than it is like for these London places. And it's half an hour from where I live. So it's like, it's very easy for me to get to. There's no traffic, like nothing. So yeah, just went on Gumtree, messaged them. I knew I was going to get it just because I'm very impulsive, but I just went to go and see it just to see it. And my mum was like, I love it. We need to get this place. And I just, messaged him the next day. I was just like, let me know like the account details and I'll do it.
Amazing. So I also want you to quickly touch on the entry, the platform that you created. So like, what is it about? So like our listeners can also get involved as well, because I do see a lot of good stuff that you're putting out there as well that a lot of people could benefit from as well.
Yeah, so I started the entry. Well, I started it before it was actually the entry. So being self-employed, you have to make money. So early in the year, I was like, okay, let me host some workshops host one workshop to like help people like start a brand, like just the foundations of things, and then we can like just take it from there. But didn't have any intention to like grow it properly. So I posted something literally on like Instagram and it sold out in like a day. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do another one the following week, and that sold out again. And I was like, okay, that's doing good. Then I did a webinar because I had loads of people. Like most of my like customers, like 70% of our customers and followings and stuff are like from the US. So I wanted to make something a bit more accessible for them as well. So I did that, and then COVID happened. And I was like, how do I make money again? So basically made it into like an online course, but I did it in the way where you like drip feed it. So you sell it first to make sure that people actually want it. So I literally just being impulsive again, I was like, okay, I'm going to make a course. And I gave myself 2 weeks to like figure things out. Then I gave myself 1 week to actually sell it. And I sold like 48 spaces.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Wow.
And I actually wanted 100, but I'm so happy I didn't get it. But anyways, next time.
Definitely. It's
48 is still good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So did that. And every week I'll basically create the content as I went because it's very hard to like do it in one go. And also you get to learn like as you're doing it. So I had like weekly lives with my students and everything. So that was really cool. And so it touched on mindset was the first module, designing the collection, fashion production, marketing and PR, business systems, productivity, finance.
Yeah.
I think that's it actually. Yeah, 7 modules. And then it ended with a one-to-one call.
Nice.
I charged it. It was quite low. It was like £69 to £99. But that was because I wanted to get as many people in and just try and get a lot of feedback from it.
Yeah.
And then when I do it again in like October, I can charge what they tell me it's worth. And they're saying like £200, £250. But at least I've got like evidence to say this is what people think it's worth and this is their
That's
testimonials. But for me, it's just everything I wish I had. But I truly think...
Each one teach one, right?
Yeah. I truly think like whatever business you have, it's literally just mindset. If you don't think you're going to make it, you're not going to make it.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's not to say that I feel confident. I don't really feel that confident a lot of the times, but I still like push myself. And I feel like that's where a lot of designers just are lacking. Like they don't have the right mindset. They have creativity, but they're just not ready to like really put that into a business. And people always ask me like, oh, when's the right time to leave your job and do all of that stuff? It's not when you have loads of money saved up. It's when you're mentally ready because your money can go. And then what?
Facts.
You know, I've spent so much money like on myself and like on the business and stuff. Like I could not rely on just having cash in the bank because I was going to have to spend it. But so it's more like I need to make sure that if something bad happens, it's not a good month or whatever, I'm mentally ready to figure it out. Like cash is not going to help you. You need to fail and you need to be in like really tough situations for you to actually like learn things.
100% agree. That's amazing. So what's kind of the big goal for you, the end goal with everything you're doing, Rebecca Tembo, the entry as well? What's kind of the end goal of that?
With Rebecca Tembo, I don't want to sell it, so I want it to be like a lifelong thing. I don't see myself like retiring, don't have that kind of aspiration yet at least. But I've always wanted it to have like a 200 million valuation.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was saying the next 10 years, I want to be turning over 8 figures consistently every year.
Amen.
You heard it here first.
I was saying 3 to 5 years, definitely want to be making 7 figures like consistently.
sure.
And I only want to be stocked in Net-a-Porter. I just love their like whole thing. But ultimately, just be like I don't want to be Gucci. I don't want to be that size because that's very political. But I want to be big enough where like people know the brand and respect the brand, and we're serving people that are on the come up, and we're serving people that are extremely, extremely wealthy. And I want to be a brand that can give back to people 100%. In some way. I mean, when it comes to like the word privilege, I always think about our privilege of just being on the Western side of the world. And like I know I have family back home who would love to do fashion, and it's not gonna. Well, I'll hopefully help them,
for sure.
but if I wasn't there, they wouldn't really have the opportunity to really do anything. So my thing is like I want to build art schools and stuff like that in Africa where I can help them and help the kids in India that are dying because of these factories. Like actually build proper factories that they can work in. And then with the entry, I just want it to be the biggest platform for aspiring designers and like do international summits and make loads of money as well. But I want to basically create a platform where I have independent designers coming through and they're leaving making like 6-figure salaries for themselves personally, like not even the business, just themselves. Like they're making 6 figures. I don't want them to struggle. It's not
100%.
like we live once. So,
no, that's amazing.
1,000%.
And we wholeheartedly believe you'll achieve that as
Thank
well.
you.
So we're rooting for you. So where can our followers find you? The entry, Rebecca Tembo. Just give yourself a big shout out.
Okay, so my Instagram is Rebecca Tembo _, and that's my Twitter as well. The business Instagram is Rebecca Tembo Official, and the entry is the entry _ platform on Instagram.
Cool.
Make sure you follow, make sure you make sure you make a purchase as well. Repost their stuff. You know what I'm saying? And also like, subscribe and comment, all that good stuff.
So before we wrap up, we always have like a word of the week. So what's your word for the week coming for our listeners and for yourself?
Is it just a random word?
Any word that's in your mind?
Anything that means something to you.
Leadership.
Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
And remember, we said empathetic leaders and emotional intelligent leaders as well. So that's dope. Leadership.
Yeah.
Housekeeping.
Focus on things that move the needle. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. Yeah.
Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, leave us a
Come on.
review. Again, give us feedback. Do you know what I'm saying? And how we're doing.
Yeah.
And reach out to us, shoot us a mail. If you want to come on, shout us.
But a big thank you for coming onto the podcast.
Yeah,
We
man.
really enjoyed it.
It's been a
And we
pleasure.
love all the work
Thank you
you're
for
doing
having
as
me.
well. No
It's fun.
problem at all.
Thank you
But
so
thanks for
much.
listening, guys. Nice to see you again. Or whatever.
All that good stuff, man.
All that good stuff. But take care. Have a great week. And remember to focus on things that move the needle.
Bow.